If you're waking up tired, dragging through the afternoon, and wondering why you suddenly need caffeine just to function, I don't want you to automatically assume I'm a busy mom or this is just what happens after 40. When women in their 40s or 50s tell me that they're exhausted, there are a few questions I immediately start to ask. And the first one is simply, how are you sleeping? And it's not just, are you getting 8 hours? It's, are you waking up two or three times during the night? Are you having night sweats? Are you tossing and turning? When you wake up, do you feel like you barely slept at all? Do you feel like you're exhausted? Because you can be in bed for 8 hours and still not be getting true 8 hours of quality sleep. And during perimenopause, this can absolutely change. And hormonal fluctuations can contribute to things like hot flashes, night sweats, disturbed sleep. And if you're waking up multiple times a night, of course you're going to be exhausted the next day, right? So before we start looking at some of the complicated answers to your fatigue, I want you to realize what's happening while you're sleeping. And by the way, if you're new here, I'm Christine Jennings. I'm a certified nurse midwife and mom of twins, and I've spent 21 years caring for women through every stage of life. And now I'm passionate about helping women over 40 understand what's happening to their bodies so they can feel like themselves again. And one thing I've learned is that we are way too quick to dismiss exhaustion as you're just busy. Yes, you're busy, but let's make sure that's the reason. And if you're starting to realize there may be more going on with your body than you thought, I created a free hormone and metabolism guide for women over 40. It covers hormones, HRT, GLP-1s, peptide therapy, metabolic health, and you can drop guide below or go to the link in my bio to grab it or send me an Instagram DM and just comment guide and I'll shoot it over to you. Next, are you moving your body? And I know what you may be thinking, like, Christine, I am freaking exhausted. This is what my patients say when they're like, I'm exhausted. I'm like, are you working out? And they're like, I'm too tired to work out. And it seems like, okay, if I'm tired, there's no way I'll have energy to work out. But actually, if you work out, it's going to help with that. And I'm not telling you need to do some crazy, like, hour-long workout. Like, just regular movement. Get your steps in. Strength train 2 to 3 days a week. And if you're like, that's impossible, start with 1 day a week and then add to two and then add to three. Get outside, move your body consistently. And before you know it, the physical activity can actually help with your energy, your mood, and your sleep. And as women get older, strength training becomes very important because we automatically start to lose muscle. So maintaining that muscle with strength training is going to be huge for you. But I am looking at both sides of this. So are you completely sedentary because you're exhausted? Or are you working out so much and you're under fueling? I see that happen a lot, and you're just not giving your body time to recover because more isn't always better. And then the third question is, have we looked at other reasons of why you may be tired? And that's the part that really matters because not every symptom a woman experiences after 40 is perimenopause. Everybody thinks like, oh, it's just my hormones. And I want people to understand that because depending on your symptoms, depending on your medical history, your healthcare provider may want to consider other causes of fatigue, things like thyroid problems, anemia, iron deficiency, side effects from medications that you're on, or a potential sleep disorder. Also, mood changes, nutritional deficiencies, other medical conditions, those are all things that can play into the sleep conversation. So, oh, you're in your 40s, you're probably in menopause. That's why I don't love when people just say, like, you're in your 40s, you're probably in perimenopause. But like, let's stop and ask some questions. And thyroid is definitely one that I would have checked out. So if you have not had your thyroid checked, I would get with your healthcare provider to check your thyroid levels. Because if you're exhausted and you're also noticing things like unexplained weight gain, feeling unusually cold, if you're constipated, changes in your hair or skin, if you're losing your hair, it doesn't necessarily mean you have a thyroid problem, but it's worth looking into. The other thing is, are you actually fueling your body? Because I see so many women talk about, they're just trying to eat less, move more, eat less, move more, because they're wanting to lose weight, but then they're also working, they're taking care of their kids, they're running to practices, they're trying to exercise, they're trying to do all the thing, and their body's running on fumes. So protein matters and overall nutrition matters. Hydration is another big thing. That plays a huge thing. And eating enough to support what you're asking your body to do 100% matters. And sometimes the answer isn't always another cup of coffee or an Alani or the next energy drink that's trending. So here's what I want you to take away from this. If you're exhausted all the time after 40, don't just normalize it because you're busy. Start asking some questions. How am I sleeping? How much sleep am I actually getting? How much protein am I getting? Am I moving my body? Am I giving myself time to recover? Am I eating enough to fuel my body? And have I talked with a healthcare provider about whether something else could be contributing to how I feel? Because there could be an underlying medical condition that you don't even realize is going on. Because yes, perimenopause can absolutely affect your energy. but it shouldn't become the explanation for every symptom that you have. Sometimes your body is telling you something that deserves a closer look. And I would much rather you ask the question than spend the next 5 years thinking, I guess this is just how I feel now, like it's perimenopause. If you'd like my free hormone metabolism guide, make sure to drop guide below, head over to the link in my bio, or shoot me a DM on Instagram, comment guide, and I'll send that over to you. And if you're a woman over 40 who's ready to better understand what's happening in your body, subscribe for more, because every week we'll be having honest conversations about perimenopause, hormones, metabolism, peptides, all the things to help you feel like yourself again. So I'll see you in the next one.